Once upon a time, in the bustling city of New York, everything was going as usual. The streets were filled with people, the skyscrapers were touching the clouds, and the cars were honking their horns. However, something terrifying was lurking in the shadows. One night, a group of people who were walking home late from work noticed strange movements in the distance. As they got closer, they saw the most horrifying creatures they had ever seen. These were not your typical monsters, they were huge, with razor-sharp teeth, and eyes that glowed in the dark. These creatures were attacking everything in sight, and the city was in chaos. The people of New York were caught off guard, and no one knew what to do. The creatures were tearing through buildings, cars, and people, leaving destruction in their wake. The city was in a state of emergency, and the National Guard was called in to help. But even they were powerless against the monsters. As the sun rose, the creatures disappeared back into the shadows, leaving behind a devastated city. The people were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives, and to try to understand what had just happened. They searched for answers, but found none. The creatures were a mystery, and they left the city in fear of when they would strike again. Years went by, and the people of New York tried to forget the horror that they had experienced. But they could never shake the feeling that the creatures were still out there, waiting to attack again. The city was never the same, and people were more cautious when walking the streets at night. The creatures remained a mystery, and no one knew where they had come from. Some believed they were aliens, while others thought they were an experiment gone wrong. But one thing was for sure, the city would never forget the night it was attacked by those terrifying creatures. Years after the attack, a group of scientists from around the world came together to study the creatures that had attacked New York City. They brought with them the latest technology and equipment to analyze the evidence left behind. As they delved deeper into their research, they discovered something that shook them to their core. The creatures were not from this world, but rather from a parallel dimension. They had accidentally stumbled into our world, and in their confusion, had attacked the first thing they saw. The scientists knew that they had to find a way to prevent the creatures from coming back. They worked tirelessly to develop new technology that would protect the city and prevent any further attacks. They also created a special task force, made up of the bravest and most skilled soldiers, to defend the city against any future threats. Years passed, and the city of New York became a beacon of hope and innovation, with new defenses in place to protect against any unknown threats. The people of the city felt safer and more secure, knowing that they were prepared for anything that might come their way. But despite all the precautions, there was still a sense of unease, knowing that there was a parallel dimension out there, filled with unknown dangers. And so, the people of New York remained vigilant, always on the lookout for any signs of a new threat. As time passed, the memory of the attack faded, but the lessons learned from that fateful night remained. The city had come together to face a common enemy, and in doing so, had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. And although they could never fully forget the horror of the creatures that had attacked them, they could take comfort in the knowledge that they were prepared for anything that might come their way.